It is not really a must to have your ECA and IELTS ready prior to applying for a job, but definitely it's an advantage. Hello everyone, this is me again, Joy Fajardo. Hindi tayo pababayaan ng Canada. Kita niyo yan guys, para ako nag-golf. Hi guys! Mag-video daw si Kiko. Let's explore PEI. Hello everyone, this is me again, Joy Fajardo, and welcome back to our YouTube channel. For today's video, we're going to discuss some of the possible ways for you to come here in PEI and what are the first steps that you need to take. But before that, we have a few shout outs to make. We would like to give a huge shout out to Miss Marites Loreto, who's been watching our vlogs, how to buy a car in Canada, facing deportation, and cost to apply in Canada. We would also like to thank another me. She said, I like how the way you talk. I think I'm gonna enjoy your other videos. Thank you so much, another me. We hope that you like all the videos and please stay tuned. And finally, we would also like to give a huge shout out to our moms, Lucila Fajardo and Ofelia Barcelona, for supporting our channel continuously. As for everyone else who've been commenting on our videos, be assured that we are reading every single one of them to acknowledge everyone who's been supporting and to thank you guys for your overwhelming support. And with that, we'll go straight to the video. One of the possible ways for you to be able to come here in PEI is through the Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program. I have another video that I made that discussed the full details on how you can apply under AIPP. But to give you an introduction as to what AIPP is and what it stands for, AIPP is the Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program. In this program, you have to find an employer who's designated by the province who can support your application for both PR and your work permit. AIPP is considered to be one of the fastest way to be able to come in the Atlantic region. It only takes 6 months for you to be a PR, and it only takes about a month or so depending on where you are applying for your work permit. Now the question is, what is the first thing that you need to do for you to apply for AIPP? I've been receiving a lot of inquiries if they have to get an ECA or the WES or IELTS, or should they find an employer straight away? The quick answer there is, as I've mentioned, AIPP is employer driven, so you have to find an employer. Now, having an ECA or WES and IELTS is actually an advantage. Having said that it's employer driven, if the employer knows that you already have all the documents ready and prepared for your application to be lodged, definitely they'll be more interested in looking at your credentials and looking at your experiences and looking to hire you in general. But if you don't have it, don't worry, because it's not going to be a hindrance as well. You can definitely get that upon being hired by the employer. Speaking of WES and IELTS, I have a separate video that talks about the step-by-step procedure for you to get your WES ready. During this pandemic, of course, we won't be able to process the WES and IELTS because most establishments are closed, and that's understandable. So for now, I'd recommend that you go ahead and check out the designated employers list from different provinces and try to find your employers. So I'm back guys, I'm so sorry. We have decided to continue filming this video inside the house just because it's starting to become windy outside, and for everyone's benefit, it's easier to understand if it's more quiet, and I can get the message across clearer. Going back to what I'm saying earlier, it is not really a must to have your ECA and IELTS ready prior to applying for a job, but definitely it's an advantage. If you imagine yourself as an employer and the applicant already has all the information, all the requirements ready, it's showing you two things. Number one, it tells you that the applicant is really interested with the job opening that you have. And number two, it's telling you that whenever you need the applicant to start, you can have him right off as soon as you hire him. Definitely, it is recommended that you already have the IELTS and ECA ready prior to finding an employer, but it's not a must. AIPP main point is for you to get an employer. The rest of the requirements can come afterwards as well. That is fine. A few other tips on how you will be able to find an employer in AIPP is to know which province you have to apply in. Based on your experience, based on your qualifications, you have to do some research in which province is your current experience related to or in demand in, so that you know where to tackle. Like, it's easier to target something if you know that you're the right fit, you're the best fit for that province. But if you have lots of time, then by all means, I'd recommend to go through every single province, every single designated employers. But if you want for easier and faster application, I'd recommend finding out first which province your experience is in demand in. Another thing that I'd like to focus on is the resume. There are some people whose experiences are slightly different from one another. Not only the experiences, but the job descriptions. For example, you're a salesperson in both companies, but your job description might be slightly different or might vary a bit. So I would highly recommend that when you are tailoring your resume, you have to make sure that the job position you are applying for is directly related to your experience. If, say for example, they're looking for a salesperson that's going to be doing this, and this, and you have sales position experience, you have to focus on the company whereby the description of what you're doing is directly related to what they're looking for. Let's put my personal experience in the picture. I have an experience for 2 years in finance. I have a 5 years experience in sales and marketing. If I'm gonna apply for a sales and marketing position, I'll put the sales and marketing position on top. But if I'm gonna apply for financial position, financial analyst position, bookkeeper position, whatnot, anything related to accounting, I'd put forward my previous experience, even if it's like years ago. The reason behind that is because you wanted your resume to be given a chance to be viewed. If you'll put straight away your recent experience, which is in sales and marketing, it won't interest people, or it won't interest a company looking for accounting. So even if you yourself know that you can do the job, but because your resume states otherwise, because it's putting forward a different experience, it doesn't really make sense for that company. So I'd recommend you always put your best foot forward, and whatever they're looking for, you just give it to them. So I have another video. It's a full video on how to do a resume, a Canadian format resume. If you are interested to learn about that, I'm gonna put in the link here for you. So that's for resume. It's very important to always tailor it to what the company is looking for. The last thing I wanted to cover in this video is the cover letter. So I cannot stress enough how important cover letters are. For my current position that I'm working with, I'm in marketing for an IT company. Imagine, my experiences are super different from one another. It's finance in an insurance company, it's sales and marketing in a jewelry shop, and now I'm on marketing in an IT firm. So it's totally different. Why is that, and how is that even possible? So I think it's always on the cover letter. Your cover letter doesn't have to be overly dramatic. It doesn't have to bring tears in the eyes of the reader, but instead it has to be powerful enough to sell yourself. You have to put whatever you think can sell yourself, or whatever the company really needs, you have to just put it in an essay. Going back to the resume thing, I forgot to mention earlier that you have to put as much as you can on the job description. Elaborate what you've been doing. The reason why I recommend that is because there are some companies, especially the bigger ones, they are using electronic or some softwares that actually filters some words. So if there is a keyword that shows up in your resume that suits the keyword that they are looking for, you might be shortlisted for another further checking. But the next checking might be more manual. If you can imagine, there are thousands of resumes that are being sent for every single company. They do it more automated, so it's being done by machine, by a computer, by a software. So always put as much information as you can on the description, just so they know exactly what are you doing. I had a few cover letters depending on the job I'm applying. I also have a few different resumes depending on the job I've been applying for. If I wanted to apply marketing and sales, I have a different resume for that. If I want to apply for finance, I have a different resume for that. If I want to go for even deeper than that, then I'll have a different set again. So I have a few that I used. It would take time. It would really take some effort and serious thinking and typing and research, but it's all worth it, and it's really a part of applying here in Canada. PEI is not so big province, but still you will have a lot of competitors to come here, so we highly recommend that you really exert effort. It's not really something you can get in so fast. It really takes time. If you really want it that bad, then I'd really recommend that you focus on it and you give it time to be done. One thing I wanted to share with you as well, if you already have your ECA or WES and IELTS, leverage that. So you have to put on your cover letter, or you have to put on the email that you're building to the employer that you already have those requirements. You have to take advantage of that. As I've mentioned, it's really your advantage if you already have those documents. So make sure that you inform them that you have those, just for them to know that you're really very interested. I think that's everything for today. I'll try to cover more of the tips and tricks, I would say, to be able to come here in Canada. It's a very tough situation considering the pandemic. It's all over the world. It's affecting every single human, I would say. We may not have the sickness, but we're definitely affected somehow. But even then, let's try to stay as normal as possible and still continue to thrive and strive to find an employer, strive to find a pathway to be able to come to Canada or whichever province you want to be in, or whichever country you want to be in. If we can help you with anything, please don't hesitate to comment down below, and we'll be happy to discuss whatever topic would be helpful for you guys. Again, we are talking based on experience, so I think it will be definitely a source of learning. Maybe you can get some information based on that. So don't forget to support our channel, show us some love by subscribing, liking, and sharing these videos to your friends as well. And of course, hit that notification bell button so you can get notified for our new videos. So that's it for today, guys. Once again, thank you for joining us in this video, and please stay tuned as we explore PEI, a place where you can enjoy and inspire. Bye!